I'm here to talk about something which is very close to all our hearts, as it should be, but Pakistanis are very aware and very politically active people, probably the most politically aware and active people in the earth. We discuss politics at every possible forum, and today, when our country is in crisis, we love to discuss the issues that we are all facing. And the challenges are huge. But what I really find very disconcerting is that we just tend to restate the problems. We all know one aspect of the problems, we tend to restate the problems. Today, our constitution is under stress, our politics is under stress, our human rights are under stress, our economy is under stress, our media is under stress, and you can go on and on. These are huge challenges. A country where one single power bill can drive a family into poverty. It's not just an economic crisis. It's a human rights issue. It's a constitutional issue. We have to find solutions. A country which can acquire nuclear capability cannot build a road, cannot educate its children, cannot better its economy. It's really a sad story it's a sad word to use of failures. And the people of Pakistan have not failed. The leadership has failed. That's our biggest challenge today. The leadership of Pakistan over the years has not behaved responsibly. The people have always delivered. People have gone to the polls, they voted, and they expected results. But the results never came. So today, the challenges are immense, and we all talk about how do we face these challenges. What do we do? Pakistan is a country, I don't need to tell you that, which has a huge asset, which very few countries in the world have. It's our youth. The whole world is faced with the challenging of an aging population. Pakistan is a youth bulge. Almost 2/3 of the people are below the age of 30. It's a potential we need to exploit. You just cannot sit around, waste time. I'm talking about the leadership of the country. You must rise to meet the challenges that are there. You must exploit the potential that Pakistan has. We all love to talk about RICO-DIG as a miraculous solution. RICO-DIG has been there for millions of years. If we don't exploit it, it will be there for millions of years, of no use to us. RICO-DIG is nothing compared to the youth potential that we have. We need to exploit it. So while I really don't want to dwell on what the issues with Pakistan are, we all know the issues, we all feel the issues. They're on the dining table. They're all there when we make our budget for our home. If you just take a few statistics, because it's important to understand where we are. People often talk about relief in the budget. The federal government in Pakistan has 4 major heads that they have to pay for. There is debt servicing, there is defense, there is running of government itself, and there is development. The total resources of the government of Pakistan cannot pay for debt servicing. Even to pay for debt servicing, we have to acquire new debt. Everything we spend on defense comes with new debt. Everything we spend on running of government, we spend with new debt. Everything we do with development comes with new debt. And now there's a 5th head of expenditure also. It's called pensions. This year, pensions have exceeded the spending that the government does on itself. The running of government, the pensions are more than the running of government. They will soon exceed the development expenditure, and they will catch up to the defense expenditure. So, how do you fix this? We expect the leadership of this country to talk about fixes. We love blame games. We love accountability. We all talk about accountability. Accountability is very easy to do if you really want to do accountability. In 77 years, we've never held anybody responsible. We could not. We have not. How do countries do it? I'll explain one method a bit later, but most countries who have a crisis like ours, they form a truth commission. Amber just talked about biases in the media. We are a country which has hidden its truth from its own people. I grew up in the 60s and 70s. I really don't know what happened in Pakistan in the 50s. I've tried to read many books. And there you'll be surprised of the things that took place after Liaquat Khan until Ayub Khan took over. It would be a very funny story if it was not so sad. So we even perverted our history. What we teach our kids at school is not really the history of Pakistan. Our heroes were not our heroes, and our villains were not our villains. Even today, what you see on TV, what you read in the papers is not really the truth. It's the biases, the media biases that Amber talked about. And they compound. The reporter has a bias, the presenter has a bias, the media house has a bias, the establishment steps in, they create a bias, the government steps in, they create a bias. So you get a very diluted version of the facts when they get to you. So when you don't know the issues, when you don't recognize the problems, when you don't analyze them, how will you find a solution? So even on issues that the country is facing, we create biases. So whenever I go somewhere, they say, oh, you held this office and that office. So tell us what is the issue with, what are the fixes with Pakistan? Where do we go from here? It's very simple. It's not rocket science. We have to fix the economy. It's very basic. Pakistan does not have a huge economic issue in the scale of things where the world operates. If you increase your exports by $30 billion a year, most of your current account issues and your fiscal issues will be gone. It's not the only solution, but that's a start. In 77 years, we've built up to 30 billion. So you need another 30 billion. Countries have added 15 billion a year sustainably for 10 or 15 years. What is our biggest export today? It's human resource. Are we working on developing our human resource? So coming back, we need economic growth. How do you get economic growth? You need political stability. Nobody will invest in a country which is not politically stable, where you do not have stability of policy, where my investment is not safe, where the system of justice does not work. You need to understand that. How will Pakistan get political stability? We have to go back to the Constitution. It is that simple. If you do not have rule of the law, if the Constitution is just seen as a book that can be manipulated by anybody that wants to, the country will not run. You have to go back, you have to respect the Constitution, you have to honor the Constitution. We have a Constitution by consensus. It's a very explicit Constitution. It defines every situation, most situations. It gives you procedures on how to solve things. Even as the oaths of office of every constitutional office holder, the oath is in the Constitution, it's part of the Constitution. So when you become a judge, or a or a politician, a MNA, or a minister, or a prime minister, or a member of the armed forces, you take an oath, which is part of the Constitution. It's a constitutional oath that you take. Our problem is, all of us, the constitutional office holders, unfortunately break that oath every day. So you have to respect the Constitution. There has to be rule of law. You have to go back to the basics. There are no miraculous solutions. There is no miracle that will happen. You have to put your head down, you have to work hard, you have to understand the issues, you have to find solutions and move forward. You can't live in the past. This is very critical for Pakistan. You must go back to the rule of law. You want to do accountability, do it later. But first, revert to the rule of law. Respect the Constitution. There are huge fissures in the political system. The fractures in the society. These are very, very serious issues. People have lost respect for each other. So you need to overcome this. You need to move forward. People ask me, what would you do if you were there? You can't fix anything in isolation. They have linkages to each other, you move forward. But there are two things that Pakistan really needs to address very quickly. The two very important things. The first is your education system. 26 million kids out of school and growing, and nobody even talking about it. The second is your birth rate, 2.4%. You achieve 2.2% growth is good for most countries. For Pakistan, it is negative growth. You can talk about there's nothing, no system in Pakistan works. You have to completely reform the systems, completely change them. The system of governance does not work. The police system does not work. The bureaucracy does not work. There's no single system that does not need massive reform in Pakistan. Nobody is talking about it. If you don't fix it, you cannot fix Pakistan. You cannot give Pakistan a future that we all want. You cannot give the youth of this country hope. You cannot muddle through anymore. We muddled through for 77 years. We can't anymore. It's the end of the road. We need to understand that. I do not see the sense of urgency that Pakistan needs today. Look at taxation. We're the only country in the world which has a system called non-filer. A non-filer is a person who says, I do not respect your laws, I will not pay taxes. Paying taxes is the responsibility of every citizen. This is not a choice. Nobody in Pakistan pays taxes unless it is an absolute necessity, that they can't avoid it. So you must make people responsible. Tax everybody who has income. If you tax people 50%, and that's the 49%, 0.5% of the rate today for self-employed people. 39.5 is for salaried class. Nobody will pay taxes of that kind. Because countries that charge those rates deliver an extreme level of service to its people. We need to bring government down to the local level. The systems are there. If the federal government devolves to the provinces need to devolve down to the district level. Let the districts compete with each other. It's impossible to run Rawalpindi from a government sitting in Lahore. You have to fix the bureaucracy completely. Today, our bureaucracy is failing. We take the brightest people in the country, we dump them down to people who really cannot deliver anything, who have to rely on corruption to make two ends meet. So if you take bright people, you must pay them well. So there's a complete systemic failure that we face in Pakistan today. We need to address these issues. If you talk about how to move forward, what should we be doing? I've explained to you, every system is failing. We need to fix those systems. It can only be done with consensus. You can give one political party every political seat in Pakistan today, they can't fix it. They don't have capacity, they don't have capability, and there will be no consensus. So what is the way forward? An extraordinary situation requires an extraordinary solution. You have to sit down. Pakistan is a country which does not operate as per the constitution. We have influences, external influences. We have shareholders in the power structure. Let them all sit down today. The political leaders, the military leaders, and the judicial leadership. You cannot operate in isolation. They need to sit down. They need to form an agenda. How do we reform Pakistan and move forward? Achieve a consensus on a table. There's nothing in the constitution that bars you from sitting down together and talking about the country. If you can sit in closed rooms and talk about sharing power or sharing resources, you can talk about the future of Pakistan also, publicly. I don't mean they'll be on TV, but they'll be sitting there, they'll be visible to people of Pakistan, that our leadership is sitting there today talking about us, talking about solutions. I've not heard of solutions. We look at our laws. We make laws for the ease of the government. We don't make laws for the ease of the people. This cannot go on. It's really the end of the road. If somebody has a better solution, I'm all ears, I'm willing to listen to it. But I don't see a debate out there on these issues. We can talk about the issues at length, but the reality is nobody will come from outside. We cannot import anybody that will fix the problems. We have to fix our house ourselves. It's not just a choice, it's a responsibility today. And that's where, if the leadership fails today, history will never forgive them. There are many people who are footnotes in history. They were enjoyed a lot of power, they did nothing, they're footnotes in history. So we have to deliver hope and a better future to the youth of Pakistan. It's not a choice, it's critical, it's a survival for our country. Thank you.